Previously on TF Reviews. Huh? What? What the scrap? Huh? What? Ah! What the scrap? Oh my Primus. Well, someone had to say it to him. Hello, botcons and quintessons. Silver Streak here. Now, this video is gonna be something that's a little different from my usual content. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Nemesis Prime's Origins video made by Marvelous Videos. Now, when it comes to making Transformer videos on their channel, like to say it's clearly not their best when it comes to giving proper facts to certain characters or events.
Lionel Stander, Peter Cullen, Scatman Crothers, Orson Welles, and Frank Welker, who passed away 10 months before the film's release. In the comic book storyline, in comparison to the movies, Galvatron is a time-lost warrior from a previous, more ruthless era, who will do whatever it takes to accomplish his objectives. He was never Megatron, and he is not a servant of Unicron.
So let's take a look at one in particular that stuck out to me, Nemesis Prime.
Talking about Nemesis Prime. He's such an antagonist who didn't just manage to defeat Optimus Prime and create chaos in his life, but was also able to make Optimus's allies turn into his foes by trickery. Still, he also created such a huge fanbase that they made multiple variations of him with the same dark, evil intent to destroy Optimus Prime and take over the whole universe under the command of Unicron. The Transformers series has introduced him with different names like Motomaster.
And we get to our reoccurring issue of this video, where they say Nemesis Prime is an alias for Moto Master. I get it. They're both Decepticons, transform into black trucks, and are often seen flying Optimus Prime. But that doesn't mean that they're the same guy. There's like a multitude of differences between the two.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel.
It's like no, I'll subscribe.
I will fight anyone.
Nemesis Prime, and how he came to be. The Transformers are a group of ancient alien species who came to seek refuge on Earth after they realized their planet was being destroyed by years of war. They were divided into two main groups: the Autobots, who fought for Earth, trying to save the humans from facing the same end as them, and the Decepticons, who still believed that Cybertron could be rebuilt on Earth and were ready to do anything and everything to get to their goal. The Decepticons have tried everything, starting from engaging in wars with Autobots to joining forces with humans of the same mindset. They have even tried making clones of other Autobots.
When at any other point did the Decepticons ever make clones of the Autobots? From what I've seen G1, Optimus was the only Autobot we've seen with multiple clones.
But none of them seem to stand out except one. The one and only Nemesis Prime. Nemesis Prime was first introduced in Transformers Armada, where the concept of evil Optimus Prime was first used.
That sentence is both right and wrong at the same time. While, yes, Armada is the first series where a character bears the name Nemesis Prime, but he's not the first evil Optimus Prime, or even Prime for that matter. I mean, what about Copy Convoy or Scourge?
Initially, he was a dark-colored version of Optimus Prime, with all his abilities and a few more. Still, with upgrades in the following few adaptations, his character has had significant depths to his body and his lust for destruction. This Unicron construct, known as Nemesis Prime, possessed a darkly potent Vorpal Saber.
Did you just say Marble Saber? Isn't it pronounced the Star Saber?
Prime Problem. Transformers Generation 1 Season 2 Episode 8 was named A Prime Problem, where they first showed Nemesis Prime in an animated form, though they didn't really give him any proper name and referred to him as the perfect clone of Optimus Prime.
What do you mean, not the perfect clone? The clone that Megatron created was so perfect that not even Teletran 1 could tell who was the real Prime.
The episode highlighted that the right guidance is not always to charge forward, but occasionally to stop and plan your moves ahead of time. The key to Vector Sigma.
Just gotta move on for the next section.
Cremzy.
Because it's completely pointless to Nemesis Prime, that's why.
Cremzy.
Well, yeah, but...
Cremzy.
Alright, I'll look over all of it.
Key to Vector Sigma was a two-part episode divided into episodes 39 and 40 of the animated series Transformers Generation 1. A Transformer might activate the antiquated supercomputer by using the Key, an ancient gadget that was connected to the Vector Sigma. In this episode, we are shown Megatron pursuing a superfuel but is stopped midway by Optimus Prime and his fellow Autobots. After he fails, he makes his Decepticons steal vehicles similar to the style of the Autobots. We later realize that he is rebuilding Optimus Prime's body with the darker black and gray shade, and has made clones of other Autobots as well.
Cremzy.
Oh my, this is gonna be fun. This was the first time the animated series actually gave a hint of the new character to be Nemesis Prime. Though he was called Motomaster, we all knew secretly that Nemesis Prime was about to be his name.
Who secretly knew? Let's see what we really know. Well, I guess we know more than you all thought.
This is one of the episodes which was aired over 10 times because of its popularity. Nemesis Prime G1. In the toy line bio, the backstory remains the same, but here Nemesis Prime was the result of a crazy scheme by Straxus, who tortuously transformed a humble, unrecognized warrior into the likeness of Optimus Prime through a painful rebuilding procedure.
That's at least accurate to the universe figure of Nemesis Prime.
Nemesis Prime, whose creator had since died, posed a menace to everyone by hiding out in the shadows of Cybertron and murdering both Autobots and Decepticons as part of his murderous mania. This was the darkest and most murderous form of Nemesis Prime, as he believed that nobody in this world deserved to live except him. He targeted everyone, and because of his super regenerative abilities, it was extremely hard for the Autobots or the Decepticons to defeat him alone. Hence, the two groups decided to work hand in hand to defeat him. The battle was long and tiring, and as viewers thought they had no hopes of winning, Megatron and Optimus Prime joined hands and shot a laser beam so powerful that it destroyed Nemesis Prime's whole molecular structure, killing him
And they slacked up. I mean, you're not even gonna mention the proper series nor show the right footage of the Nemesis Prime you were just describing? Look, I'm not a film expert, but even I know that's poor editing.
The story of Binaltech and creation of Nemesis Prime. In this storyline, Dr. Arkeville duplicated Optimus Prime using a subspace impulse cloner in an effort to produce a villain more powerful than Megatron. To achieve this, Arkeville used a special type of rewriting software to turn Optimus Prime's imported essence wicked, but the clone was still devoid of life. Just imagine, this variation of Nemesis Prime is quite literally the embodiment of Sinister, the Destruction. The effort to channel a life force through a subspace link-up was cut short when a mystery ball formed by a time warp contacted the clone's body.
And you're not even gonna mention that Spark is Optimus Primal's?
Imagine how big a threat he is to everyone, because not only is he the strongest, but he can also leap through time itself. If this isn't overbearing, we don't know what is. The only reason our heroes have won against him is through sheer willpower and plot armor. No offense.
Did you really just say plot armor?
After he disappeared, he stopped the Decepticon leader from taking over the solar system, as he wanted it all for himself. After this, Megatron was disgusted and decided to fight him. He attacked the clone with all his might, but their fight was cut short as all non-Binaltech Transformers were shut down, and Nemesis Prime seized the opportunity to take over Megatron's throne. As he kept growing more and more powerful, he started seizing power all over the system, and became the leader of all Decepticons.
You really think just showing random pictures with an evil Optimus in the video is informative? 'Cause it's not.
Renegade Rhetoric, Nemesis Prime. In this universe, Optimus Prime of Primax 085.0 Eta was abducted by Megatron's minions to an alternate reality, and was experimented on with a brainwave scanner, which corrupted his mind and turned him into Nemesis Prime, created to bring havoc and chaos among worlds. He did take up the role of leadership for the Decepticons, but soon they realized that maybe it was not such a great idea to turn Optimus Prime into Nemesis after all.
I feel like they're just reading the TF wiki and just altering their words in order to not get plagiarized.
Transformers Earth War, where he is the outcome of an experiment done by Shockwave. He uses his ion blaster to tear open Transformers, and his lowest rating goes up to 2 stars. In this game, he possessed all powers of Optimus Prime, but did not know how to possess them, which made him go nuts. As far as any adaptation goes, he has never been portrayed as a good entity. Like, never.
Bull slag. What about the Nemesis Prime from the Universe timeline, who actually abandoned his evil deeds and joined the side of good against Unicron?
You are nothing!
Nemesis Prime in the film series Transformers: The Last Knight. The Transformers. When we hear these 2 words, the first thing which comes to our minds is the red and blue colored truck of Optimus Prime, or the yellow Mustang with black stripes of our fan favorite Bumble.
Did they just say a Mustang instead of a Camaro?
One of these latest movies of the franchise, Transformers: The Last Knight, was released in the year 2017, where they showed an Optimus Prime who was not really himself. This was a homage to Nemesis Prime, but this one was different. Some may even call it better.
That's a very controversial statement. I mean, I thought the idea of Nemesis being Optimus himself was an interesting idea on paper, but I know not everyone is going to agree with that, and I'm completely okay with that.
In this movie, even though the character was still referred to as Optimus Prime, unlike Nemesis Prime's original storyline where Unicron made him for the purpose of defeating Optimus Prime, Quintessa brainwashes him into turning into an evil version of himself, aka Nemesis Prime, and destroying Earth, which she believed to be the real form of Unicron.
What do you mean she believed Earth was Unicron? She makes it pretty clear that Earth itself is Unicron.
This antagonist is sure to be one of the greatest enemies our heroes will ever fight, and hopefully we'll get to see him even more, maybe stronger and better as well. Transformers better be ready, especially you, Optimus Prime. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already.
Smelt you? I'm not gonna like your content for many reasons. Number 1, you neglected to mention other versions of Nemesis, such as the Line Continuity, the IW comics, or even Robots in the Sky's Scourge, who is technically the first Nemesis Prime to Western audiences. Number 2, Mota Master and Nemesis Prime aren't the same guy. What, just because they're both black trucks and are Decepticons, they're the same guy? That's like the equivalent of saying Hotshot or Hot Rod are both the same character just because they both start with the word hot. And number 3, don't watch this Nemesis Prime video. If you want to learn about Nemesis Prime, I highly recommend you check out these 2, Chris McFeely or Ramus Primal. These guys know all there is to know about Nemesis Prime. This is Silver Streak, and I thank you all for your support, and I hope for something like this in the future, for better or for worse. And I'll see y'all next time, no matter the cost.